Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. Listen, I'm going to be back a little later, but I just had to share this story with y'all because it's too crazy, and I want you to see the state of affairs that we are really facing, because I always contend that if the control group has a cold, then you already know that the subculture has new AIDS. Okay? And this is a crazy story out of Orlando, Florida. It's the most craziest narcissistic story I've just... Okay, let me just share it, okay? A man in Orlando, Florida said he was arrested after a police officer mistook flakes of donut glaze for crystal meth. And they said, we found something in your car that's illegal, said Daniel Rushing, 64. He told the Orlando Sentinel. And I said, oh, no, that's not possible. And they said, oh, yeah, we tested it. And I said, well, I don't care what you tested, because there's nothing in the car that's illegal. So this is what the guy is saying. And, you know, he's very confident, like I'm sure anybody would be if they were just accused of something so bizarre. So anyway, Russian said he had been giving a friend a ride home when police pulled him over. The officer said he didn't come to a full stop, and that was one of the reasons why they pulled him over. And by the way, Mr. Rushing Daniel, he's a 64-year-old Caucasian man. So this is just to give you an idea of how crazy these Gestapo tactics that they're using on us as people is just it's just outlandish. It's just outlandish. Let me finish this story. I don't want to. Okay. Anyway, Russia said he had been giving a friend a ride home when the police pulled him over, but it took longer than he expected. And he said, and the cops then confronted him with 4 little pieces of Krispy Kreme donut glaze that they found in the car. First, they tried to say it was crack cocaine, and he sarcastically said, "Oh no, it's crack. No, it's not crack. It's amphetamine." And what did he say that for? They arrested him. They later strip searched him and wouldn't let him have access to the pain medication for his bad back. An arrest report obtained by the Sentinel says that 2 tests on the flakes tested positive for amphetamines. But according to the Sentinel, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement tested and discovered that the flakes were not illegal drugs. And then the state attorney dropped the case. Of course, Russian is suing for damages. The Orlando Police Department spokeswoman said, well, at this time we have no responsive records. There is no mechanism in place for easily tracking the number of or results of field drug testing. Now, they subjected this man to a strip search for Krispy Kreme donut glaze. And I think that is the most insane. So, for those of you who think you're safe, no, you're not. And if you're not part of that 1%, and if you're just a regular Caucasian person, you're not part of that 1%, you can forget it. You're subject to some of this treatment that is just as bizarre, just as crazy as anybody else. Fortunately for you, you didn't get shot. Listen. Please like, subscribe, and share. Okay? And we'll see you a little later on in the mental house. Krispy Kreme donut glaze.